Okay, we are at the end of Module 6 or Chapter 8 in your book, and this one will be quick and easy. Okay, we're talking about cost-based pricing. And the only tricky part of this, and they allude to it in this first sentence, is what we're going to be doing is we're going to be applying a markup to our costs or applying a profit percentage to our price. And so being clear about what is your numerator and what is your denominator and what are you applying a percentage to is really, really important. And you'll notice that I do have Excel open for you because, again, if you make a mistake, it's easy to fix when you're using Excel. All right. So first of all, back to the whole this is economics thing, right? Demand and supply set the price, right? Prices are set in the market at the point where the market clears when manufacturers are willing to sell all that the customers are willing to pay. That's, where supply equals demand, or quantity demanded equals quantity supplied, if we want to be technical about it. Now, the supply curve from microeconomics is actually the marginal cost curve. Right, so companies' costs, manufacturers' costs, are what make up supply. And for what we look at, if we're looking at cost plus pricing, or if we're looking at costs in order to set the price that we're willing to accept for our product, what they have to do is calculate the cost of the product or service and then add your desired profit. And so the mechanics is called marking up. So any of you that have worked retail, you get your whatever it is that you're selling in, and then you apply a markup to it, right? Retail markups, usually 50% or more. And different businesses have different markup sort of standards. And so, you mark up the base cost, and what you do is you have, you put your desired profit in there, but then you take and throw, you look at any costs that are not in the base cost of the product or service. And companies that actually go out and bid for jobs, that's usually how they do it. They look at all the costs, and then they bid at a cost plus a desired profit. There's many examples of cost plus pricing. Utility companies, that's how they set their rates. The electric companies, that's how they set their rates. So, it's pretty common. It's very straightforward to calculate. Okay, it's straightforward to calculate, but again, I am going to do it over here in Excel just because it's easy to get yourself messed up in terms of what you are marking up versus what you are marking down. So let's set it up here so that we are all set to be able to just kind of use this setup for all of the problems. So we have, let's see, we want cost plus 20%, and then our costs are going to be direct materials and direct labor, and our materials are 65,000, and our direct labor is 4,000. So the question is, let's calculate the price. And so desired price. So in order to do that, you say it's the sum of these two. So let's put a parenthesis there. That plus that. Close the parentheses. And then there's a number of different ways that you can actually make this expression. I like to make it as times 1 plus, with a parenthesis, 1 plus our markup. All right, so it's going to be 82.8. Let's make sure I got that right. And there it is. Right, easy peasy. Couldn't be easier. How you get screwed up is with the next piece, right? Because watch what's coming next. Okay, sometimes, so this is, actually I'll say this is cost plus pricing. Okay, so that's what we just did, cost plus pricing. But that's not necessarily how things always go. Sometimes there's such a thing as target costing. What's the difference? Well, the difference is how you get to your cost requirements based on the price, right? So although plenty of firms set the price of a new product as a sum of the costs and the desired profit, right? It's sort of, this slide is actually kind of, it's poorly laid out because really, right, this is sort of a new topic, target costing, separate new topic. Right? Target costing is a method of determining the cost of a product based on the price that customers are willing to pay. So with cost plus pricing, you start with the cost and then you add your markup. With target costing, you start with the price and then you figure out how much your costs need to be and you go back in and then figure out how you can build something that is at the cost that will allow you to get the profit you want at a price that customers are willing to pay. So here's our example. So we have a manufacturer of wristwatches, and we're designing a new watch that incorporates a PDA, which you guys don't even know what it is anymore. PDA stands for Personal Digital Assistant. So basically they're talking about an Apple Watch before Apple Watches were a thing. The new PDA watch has a target price of $200 and we require a 15% profit on new product revenues. Okay, so if the $200, right, so let's say the desired price, or the required price, is $200, required profit is 15%. So then our required profit at $200 is going to be 15% of $200, right? So it's $30. So $30 of that $200 price tag needs to be profit. So that means that the required cost has to be 170. It has to be 200 minus 30. Couldn't be easier, right? That's about as basic as it gets. Now, why am I even bothering to do this over in Excel? Because you can get screwed up doing these things, right? It's really, really important to keep straight in your mind whether you're looking at the target cost or cost plus pricing. Because, right, if we have a $170 cost and we say, well, I want to do cost plus 15% because that's my required profit, it's not the same. 15% of 170 is not 200. So let's see. So we'll say the mistaken cost plus for target costing error. Okay, so if you say I'm going to have $170 in our cost times 1 plus the target profit, right, that gives you $195.50, which is not the same as 200, even though it's close. Right, so it's really important to keep your numerators and your denominators clear for these, and that's why I think it's easiest to do it in Excel, because then if you make a mistake and Cengage tells you it's wrong, you can just easily go back and fix how the calculation was going and figure out what you did wrong. So that, my friends, was Chapter 8, Module 6, and that was a piece of work. There was a lot to it. I wouldn't necessarily expect you to get all this stuff done in one day, in one sitting. I certainly didn't. I spread my videos out over 2 days. And, you know, but this is the heart and soul and meat of managing by the numbers. Everything that we've done so far in managerial accounting has sort of led up to this content. And if you guys can master this, you know, you really will be in good shape for being able to be really solid, analytical general managers in your careers. So, good going.